Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 Manager, episode 105. We are just about to the end of the season before the massive regulation changes. Research projects have been coming aplenty. I have a vacant spot now as one has finished, but we're not yet to the next period, so I don't have anything I can add. But we still have 19 days till the next period. I'm not going to wait 3 weeks to get a project going, so we're going to get a minor one going on suspension, and we should see, even with contributing more to it, we should still see plenty of gains from this. We'll see if I leave out the brake cooling and keep that as a minor gain. Let's see, where does this put us time frame wise? We're looking at 38 days without committing extra people to it. I think that's pretty okay, because once you commit some more people to it, that cuts down to 32. Now if we go back, that's only 2 extra days. We'll take the brake cooling bonus as well. You can see overall it's minor. Research benefit, we're looking at essentially 2% added and only 3% of the total 36. Suspension's got a long ways to go. It's kind of looking like our other upgrade that we might have done on this one was the same sort of deal where we didn't actually have any wind tunnel time to input for it. And that's just 3 engineers to get that done in just over 1 month. Austin and the USA Grand Prix is next for us. Last year, Doohan finished 4th. Pourchaire was 9th following a big mistake. I think big spin out or something. I don't remember if he had a lockup and hit somebody and had to pit. That might have been involved as well. He recovered to only be a couple seconds behind his teammate, but there was only 3 seconds between him and Lando Norris at the end. Was that a field bunched up following maybe a safety car? Was Pourchaire the cause of that safety car going backwards? I don't remember. But either way, wouldn't take much to improve upon a 4th and 9th place finish, considering how this season has gone, as we've won most of the races we've participated in. In fact, out of 18 races this season, we've been on the podium in 16 of them, all but 2 races, and we have won 13, all but 5.
Welcome to the United States Grand Prix. We're in Austin, but there are no wild cowboys on the track this weekend, just some serious horsepower. It's sure to be a race to remember. The Circuit of the Americas has it.
Strategy for the remainder of this season is straight to the race. Even qualifying simulations, Doohan 7th, Pourchaire 8th, Verstappen carrying another penalty. Let's see if it's enough to bump us up, drop him down. Russell is going to be row 2. Leclerc is going to inherit the pole.
As the sun continues to shine, it seems like nothing can dampen the mood of excitement here at the track. Williams here. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. And looking at the second Williams car. A top 10 position today, but will they be able to capitalize on it? The teams are ready to go. Sit tight and get ready. It's the United States Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Okay, so the race is underway. I'm not even pushing here initially, as our tires are not going to last very long, but we should have a natural pace advantage for a short little bit here. P7, P8. Apparently we gained fuel right off the line. Wow. It's unexpected. Well, anyway, here's the crazy plan for today. You know how we had rain in the last race? Well, we're going to have rain in this race, and it's supposed to be heavy rain, as Doohan is currently challenging the Red Bull of Verstappen here. Not doing anything crazy at the beginning of this one. I think we're going to be going straight to wets. I'm guessing there's going to be a few cars that decide not to and have to pit twice. The wets can last a long time. It's going to get down to damp conditions at some point, but we're going to stay on the wets. They'll be a little off the pace, but those that pit are going to lose a lot more than what they gain back. And then we're going to be going straight back to the dry compounds. However, at the time we go to those compounds, as Giovinazzi spins or runs wide, rejoins in last place, just a lockup. So what we're looking at here as Doohan is now almost a second behind. I'm not sure why we're that bad, but we're down to 65%. Tire wear on these are really bad. But my options were softs or hards. Why? Because at the end of the race, your options are 2 sets of mediums or hards. 2 sets of mediums are going to be 9 seconds faster than 1 set of hards. That extra pit stop versus the extra pace, drastically different. There's huge drop off here. So we are struggling for pace in this first stint, but we're 4 minutes away from heavy rain coming. And so we're going to suck it up and just get through these first laps. This is our slowest stint. We have 2 brand new sets of mediums for the end of the race. And 1 set of hards should make it all the way through the rainy period. Guan Yu Zhou, current leader, ahead of Magnussen, ahead of Leclerc, then Magnussen, that is. Verstappen's on mediums, Zhou and Leclerc are on mediums. That's going to affect them later on, by the way. But Magnussen, Russell, Perez, we're all at about the same points. Ricardo, Bottas, not getting to Q3, have a spare set. Safety car is starting.
Safety car. Keep delta positive. Stay up. Keep delta positive.
He's already dead last from a mistake.
Dear me.
Double stack for us. Doing 2.5. And he's delayed to pull out. So Pourchaire is delayed with his 2.5. But he's going to get out roughly where he was in the mix. And there's the rain. There's the rain. Everybody else who just pit are coming out on the hards. What is... Why is Sainz driving past doing there? Yeah, I don't know how those cars can physically overtake you when you're under safety car conditions. It's illegal for them to overtake under those conditions, but... Okay, fine. We get a head start on the pit stop. First one's in. First one's on to a correct compound. So at the moment, it's still incorrect. Everyone's on the incorrect at the moment. But we're already over 2 millimeters. Can I get my position back from Sainz? He wasn't supposed to overtake me. I should be able to overtake him. Yeah, see, now I'm stopping for him. But he won't stop for me. It's okay. Everybody's going to be diving off into the pits here soon. Okay, we get ahead of every single car that pit. So we do get to the front of the field. Full wets. Full wets. Okay, except for Norris. Norris, oof. It's a mix, folks. It's a mix. Now, we're supposed to be in full wet conditions for probably half of the time. So, you want to be on one or the other. It doesn't necessarily matter which. We're going to be faster for a while, and we're at the front. These front 6 guys, we should be going green this lap, and they're going to pit and come out behind. And we're going to be driving away at the front with Verstappen and Bottas behind us. Alright, everybody else dives off into the pits, and Doohan is going to move up into P1, Pourchaire into P2, and we're racing. And as I suspected, those guys miss out as we restart. Now, it would have been really nice if we restarted a lap ago and had the same thing happen with the previous group, where we went through and pulled ahead of them and then had the other group out to pit under green flag conditions. Only 4 other drivers opting for full wets, though. So are we on the wrong compound? Is the intermediates the way to go? For now, it's already dropped back below. We're down to intermediate conditions. The only good news, though, is that we've got track position right now with Verstappen and Bottas also as a buffer. No, it is supposed to get worse here, and for a while. though, if this is the threshold for 4, I think we're going to be on intermediates for quite a while, which means we will need to pit again, but not yet. It's going to currently get back up above 4. There you go. Back above 4 for now. And we're the last ones on the wets. We've got a chance to drive away for a while. It's going to stay like this, but not terribly long, which means we need to go aggressive. It's going to be on the intermediate conditions way too long. We will have to pit again. Now it's increasing again, finally, as it had dropped to 3.7. Please get back above 4 for a while. When it decreases later on, then we'll have to go intermediates. What I'm hoping is the intermediates don't last as long as the wets, which means everybody else will have to pit again at some point, and hopefully by being on the wets for a while, we'll be able to make that single run count on the intermediates. For now, Norris is right on our heels, but Gasly's 3 seconds back. And Zhou, the other group that pit later, they're 13 seconds back. Back up over 4. We do get back over 4 for a while. I'm hoping we can get far enough away, 27 seconds ahead of Zhou, that we can come out in 8-9 and have good track position, and then hopefully those guys all have to pit again before track goes dry. But we're already 8 seconds ahead of Norris, so we are actually doing quite well. Doing quite well being on the full wets here. And nobody else is pitting to switch to the full wets. They all know it's going to dry out. But those guys that were on wets with us should have stayed on them. Over 10 seconds ahead of Norris. Now 32 seconds ahead of Zhou, so we have plenty of time on that one. If we're lucky, we can actually get ahead of this group still potentially. 16 seconds ahead of Norris already. And now 23 ahead of the tail end. Multiple cars have crashed. Multiple cars have crashed. This might be a time to pit. Local yellow. Local yellow. Ocon and Verstappen each carrying penalties.
Sounds like a few cars have crashed. Let's see what happened.
Like we have a double collision of some sort. Verstappen's at the front of this. I'm guessing he's the one who's initially going to make a mistake. Nope, Mercedes. Couldn't stop. Okay. Mercedes just couldn't stop. That's Ocon. Verstappen. He was on the edge of the track. I think he might have had an unsafe rejoin, which is where he picked up his penalty. I think he might have clipped somebody as he was trying to rejoin. 19 seconds ahead now, by the way. And the track's still... it's starting to dry out. Not rapidly. We're going to stay over 4 for at least another lap here. We're now 27 ahead of Tsunoda. 25 ahead of Gasly. I think by the end of this lap, we could be coming out still in first and second. A lot of time on intermediates. That's why we had to add this extra pit stop. Very slow stop. 2.636. Now, right now, everybody else is just coming around the corner. Let's watch as Norris. We're going to watch up here. There we are, rejoining the track and already coming around turn 1. Well ahead. And there you go. It's still a 1-2. We are 5 seconds ahead of Norris. Everybody is on the intermediates, but now we're on intermediates that are much fresher, so we're going to have better pace. And if they don't pit, we're going to have better pace. We're going to be a little ways ahead. Everybody ultimately pits at the same time when we switch to the dry compounds. If they do end up pitting again, my oh my, are we going to have a massive lead. 0.6 and holding steady for now, and it's supposed to get heavier for a bit. Let's slow it down and check in on how things are doing. We're still over 80%. Everybody else is 60%. We're now 7 seconds ahead, so we have pulled away a little bit as expected. Bottas runs wide. We're 19 seconds ahead of 6th place. I mean, that's a very healthy gap right now. But rain is increasing. Track is getting more heavily damped for a little bit, and this is supposed to last for a couple of laps. But then the track dries out further, which was why that pit stop became important. Let's hope it doesn't get up over 4. As we will definitely lose some pace. You can see Ocon is somebody we're catching back up on now, even after that pit stop. He's still a little bit further ahead than he had been. Okay, 3.5, and it seems to be holding steady at 3.5. As suspected, there is potentially a round of pit stops coming before we transition to dry. I don't know if everybody's going to do it. We've seen at least one do it so far. And we're dropping under 2 millimeters now. Out to a 12-second gap and 15 to Gasly. Approaching 24 Perez. The rain has stopped. It's going to dry out.
Copy.
Maybe started braking a little too late, too hard, and kind of went straight on. So Leclerc into the pits. And Verstappen. A lap down and at the back. Oh, that was Russell that was there just behind him. That's both your Red Bulls. Really struggling today. Meanwhile, we're out to a 13-second advantage. 61%. So just about to fall below that threshold where we're going to push until the conditions change. I expected to pit, I think, 1 lap ago. I think I expected to pit on lap 29. Now it's lap 30, or right there. I expected the first car to pit right there. So we are about a lap to 2 laps late on this. Can now go aggressive.
We could do with a bit more pace now if you've got it.
And now Porsche as well.
Copy.
Pushing on, pushing on.
13.5 seconds to Norris. 1.07, which means we do need our first guy to pit this lap. It's going to be below 1 before the end of the lap. The track grip will come up pretty soon. Doohan's first. And we are going to go medium, which is faster than hard, or just a single set of hards. There's that much of a difference. We're talking about gaining 26.1 seconds, gaining 25.6. So 0.6 a lap is the difference between the two. But the drop off at the end, because of just how bad these tires are at hanging on and surviving, is the major difference. The 0.6 per lap is significant, but the falling off the cliff is more pronounced, more significant. So Doohan will pit this lap.
Okay. We'll box this lap.
Yeah, here we come. Under 1.0 now.
I think it will be dry.
Copy.
Porsche is going to wait
DRS is
one
enabled.
more lap. We should get DRS on the straight at least for Porsche. That's going to help. Verstappen in the pits. That's Verstappen ahead of us, on the verge of being a lap down. In fact, he is a lap down to Porsche. Porsche has lapped Verstappen. Doing 2.483 for that stop. Norris does not pit. Track grip's normal. So by the time we get back out there, track grip is normal. Standard.
You can afford to drop back.
Okay. We'll watch with Porsche as we push through this lap. Norris is 14 seconds behind, by the way. He was second. He was third. Now is second for the time being. Verstappen will get his lap back in a moment, but he's 2 laps down, by the way, and he's still on intermediates. And Norris pits, and Gasly is up to P3 now. Start checking those gaps.
Okay, back off.
That is everybody else. No, Russell stays out another lap, or just hasn't reached the pits yet.
Leave core increase, please.
Oh no, he stayed out another lap. Verstappen. Red Bull's insane. Alright, well, we have the 1-2. A lot of guys have opted for the hards. Some have opted for the mediums. Those on the hards are going to lose a ton of pace. We are 17 seconds ahead of Gasly. Pourchaire slips to 4 seconds behind his teammate. But 17 seconds ahead of Gasly. 21 ahead of Norris. 25 ahead of Perez. Albon 31. Magnussen 32.
That was a stonking lap.
And we're going to be quick on the mediums compared to those on the hards. Gasly's on the mediums too, so he's going to have to pit. The first one we've got to watch out for is Perez and Albon. They're the ones we need to keep an eye on. And right now, we are already a pit stop ahead. We're going to be able to pit and come out and be significantly faster. Now, right now, we're only slightly faster. And then our tires are going to start to drop off, and then we pit. So we should, I would think, have a 26-second advantage now. We should turn that into maybe 28, 29 by the time we pit. But the second stint, those hards are going to fall off the cliff at the tail end of the race, and the mediums are going to be faster, quite a bit faster at that point when we pit. But then also as time goes on, we're not going to fall off the cliff and be significantly faster at the end of the race. Russell finally pits. Red Bull's day completely ruined, well out of the points now. I gotta think about when did we pit. Lap 31 is when we ended up pitting. 2 laps later than it was supposed to be. So that's gonna make it a little easier on us. So we're doing our 8th now. 4 more laps for doing. You can see just how quickly they're falling off. These were brand new mediums, and we've run 8 laps. And you see why the extra pit stop is necessary and why going on the hards to the end, they might last longer. We have a crash, sector 1. DSC would be nice. I'd pit both guys.
There's been a crash.
Bottas with crash on 15.
Let's take
We'll
a
see it.
closer look. Now just take a look at the McLaren.
Just
Oh, a
wrong
nasty
entry.
crash there.
And then, yeah, really poor entry. And so by the time he's trying to brake, he had no hope. But he's going to be just fine. That's Pourchaire now lapping Latifi. Inside 3 seconds, but he's going to go 1 extra lap. And we're not going to risk the double stack. Still ahead of Gasly. Yeah, that was Gasly just behind us, so we hang on to P2. Now, it's close. Just over 1.5 seconds, which means Pourchaire is probably going to come out behind Gasly, as we were about 3 seconds behind. So we need to push for this in-lap. We're going to have much of a chance. It's very late in the lap already. It's too late to make a difference. Pourchaire is going to come out in P3. Now the DRS kicks in and we overtake him. Back up into P2. Didn't even have to turn anything up. Just under 3 seconds behind
And a
doing.
new position, just gained by
Tires that are a
Williams.
lap fresher. And yeah, we're going to get our fastest laps right here, right now. Others, though, Gasly, Norris, those guys are all going to pit. We're all going to pit again here. And that's going to mess it up. And you see Perez is already at 59%. That's why the hards just weren't the way to go. That's why double mediums were faster. can see just how useful it's been. And these guys hanging on to him down at 45%. How easy it was to overtake Gasly and starting to drive away from him. I mean, we're almost a second ahead now. As well. So what good is the hards do you if you're going to end up hitting in the last 4 laps? Pourchaire has caught Doohan. Pourchaire has caught Doohan with DRS and fresher tires. He's going to make the overtake. Doohan still has a chance to get back at him, though, as he's got some spare fuel. And Pourchaire not completing the overtake. And we now have a half-minute advantage. I could pit Pourchaire and put on softs and go for the fastest lap, which we have right now, but I figure one of these guys that's pitting right now is going to steal it from us. I don't want them to attack each other on the final lap. If Doohan takes his third straight, he takes his third straight. If Pourchaire can overtake him with DRS, and he overtakes him. I think I should go overtake and defend, though. I'll set you up on the defend first. Set you up on the overtake. You use your battery. DRS is fresh. We don't need to worry about penalties with that anymore. Last lap. Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly, Perez, Tsunoda, and Ricciardo are your top 10. That's phenomenal. No Red Bulls. Ferrari's only 8th. The other teams are all split up. It's random. One guy, one guy, one guy. Haas is in the points. Alpine's the first one to get 2 drivers in the points, but Ricciardo's only 10th. It's only 1 additional point. Final turn. Doohan hangs on, takes the win. Pourchaire gets P2. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the Mexican Grand Prix. Pourchaire took 3rd last year. Doohan did not finish and was one of 7 cars not to finish the race. All of them out pretty dang early on that one, where 13 then ran around on their own, and a few of those I think were wounded and slow.
Is in the air this weekend, but it's not mariachi we'll be hearing. It's going to be the roar of the engines and the cheers of the crowd. Formula One is back in the very heart of Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a bit of a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere, as ever, is electric. Here's Williams. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And looking at the second Williams car, they're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. The race start is mere seconds away. What will happen next? We're about to find out at the Mexican Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And we're racing. Pourchaire starts from P4. Meanwhile, Doohan just P11. Did not make Q3. Did not move up, even though there was a couple guys with penalties. Pourchaire actually only qualified P6. But there was 2 cars with penalties that he moved around, moved past, and started ahead of. So, our lack of pace is starting to show by this point in the season a little bit. But just like the last 2 races, we are expecting some rain today. Pourchaire trying to go around the outside. He's going to throw it in there. There still are 3 cars side by side. And he looks to be pulling ahead a bit and does into P3. Doohan's already into P9.
Looks like a good move.
And we don't want to stay pushing very long though, so we are going to settle in. The reason why you don't want to push too long, these tires need to make it until the rain comes. Speeding things up for the sake of the episode, the sake of my time frame, and the sake of this championship is all but wrapped up and might be wrapped up. We're down to 3 races now. I have not checked the math. We'll check the math after this race to see if we have won. The constructors have won the Drivers' Championship. Will I even get a notice about that? Verstappen has pulled away a little bit. Pourchaire bouncing around with Zhou and Perez for best of the rest. Doohan, meanwhile, still there in P8. And the field staying really close together except for the last few guys. Other than Verstappen, who's pulled away by a few seconds.
I think there's been a lockup.
Lap 11. Leclerc with a lockup. It's going to bump him to the back end of the field. He's down in 19th with 2 Haas cars. Was he already down there? Ocon loses the train, starts to slip back. Just 2 seconds for now. Gasly is also a second half back of Doohan, so we are starting to pull away from that group a bit. And Verstappen is now almost 6 seconds ahead. We've won a lot of races in a row today so far. Not looking so good. But timing of the pit stops when the rain comes and the rain stops can make a huge difference, and we've already seen that. Doohan up to P7, and the rain is beginning. And we've just started the lap. So there's a good chance that we're going to want to double stack on this lap for share. Time to go aggressive. Do it. Double stack is on, and it looks like we're not going to face any other traffic, as we're still only at 0.78. But while it's a fraction of a second too early right now, it won't be by the time we come out of the pits. 0.8. Everybody put on the mediums, or intermediates, that is. But I think Leclerc and Latifi were just behind. They're at 60%, 42%. So everybody did put on the intermediates. It's holding at 0.83 though. That was unexpected. Now it's starting to take off. Verstappen, 13 seconds ahead. We are bunched up otherwise. Where's the gaps? Doohan's 1.3 behind. 3 seconds to Magnussen, so we lost 7 seconds to Verstappen, but Norris stays out front. So we just bunched up. That's it. We just bunched up is what that looks like. Again, we're at 99.99, that is. Just for a second there. Nobody pits. And we remain P4, P7. Doohan. Let's try to get the overtake down here.
And we think you can reduce lift and coast.
It's a good place to do it. Near the baseball stadium.
Yep, the overtake.
And then down to the straight, and we've got it. Up the inside under the braking zone. Can you get up the inside? No. Sure doesn't quite have it compared to Perez ahead of him. I think if anything I'm gonna have to just kind of sit tight, save the tires, be comfortable with 4th place for a while. Doohan now just 1.2 seconds behind. And multiple cars have crashed. It's too early to pit. It's just behind me. It's McLaren. And Magnussen. Bottas was just behind us. Just behind Doohan. Enough so that those guys have almost finished catching up. 2.5 millimeters, damp track, and the rain is going to stop in a few minutes. Now it's just a matter of the track drying out. It should take a little while. but now from P3, P5. So we've inched our way back into this thing. Verstappen's huge lead, of course, is gone. And Doohan, I don't like your position, but there's a double right-hander coming up. If you can stay up the inside, you've got a real shot at it. 1.5, still not yet. It's drying out really slow. 1.3. Getting closer, but no track grip yet. 1.2. 1.1. This will be the lap. This will be the lap for somebody. Earlier than expected, 14 laps to go. I don't think the softs are going to make 14 laps. So pitting early and double stacking. I would have liked to have pit somebody that last lap, but you know, you're not at that scenario. We're already below the 1.0 now. The track grip will be there very soon. Track grip's still low at this point. Nobody else is pitting yet, but we're down to 0.8. Track grip is now normal. Tail end of the field is pitting. As long as Doohan comes out ahead of Giovinazzi, we're going to make up a lot of ground on this lap. That's Porsche ahead of us. 2.584. Doohan. Slightly delayed. Get out, get out, go, 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 go. Ooh, still out ahead, but he got held up even more. He loses 5 seconds at least. And Porsche is going to be in good position, but what will Doohan's position be? That's why we ride with him. Porsche into the lead. Whoa, Doohan squeezes past Guan Yu Zhou into third. That's Norris in second. Verstappen down to 8th. Down to 8th for Verstappen. How in the world did that happen? He got hung up in his pit stall somehow. Should have had the advantage. Somehow got squeezed and was stuck, stayed put. So first and third now, and we are good to go till the end of the race. Now the next question is, who went for the mediums? Just us. Everybody else is on the softs. Everybody else. Time 16. Let's sit back and enjoy the show.
A position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Zhou gets around Doohan because of the soft versus medium advantage, but big gap to 5th. Porsche's got a healthy little gap, and these guys are either going to lose their pace in the last couple of laps. That's Porsche. That's Porsche off the track. He rejoins in 4th though. Now it's P3, P4.
Here's the replay. Now we see the
I thought he went into the wall, did he?
Just a
did
bit
he?
too heavy on the brakes, and they've locked up.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Okay.
That's going to be a big blow to the team.
Well, there's the first mistake in a while. You noticed our 90-90s, how helpful they've been. So now we sit P3, P4. Still a chance to be in the driver's seat. However, we gotta wait for these guys to drop off. They're both under 60. We push now. Lap 70. Giovinazzi, 5.5 seconds behind. Not a threat. It's all about going forward. And here goes Doohan into 2nd place. Norris still challenging though. But we're going to have DRS on Zhou and have a good chance to move right into the race lead as we begin the final lap. Where? I mean, this is Sector 1. There's no cars around us.
Sounds like there's been
Schumacher with a crash on turn 12. Why are you calling that Sector 1? But we're having a look up the outside with Doohan. Doohan is around. Doohan into the race lead.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Doohan into the race lead. Defend.
It's a good job.
Porsche now battling for P3. Here we go. He's still got DRS. Porsche. It's not going to be easy. Come on, man. Come on. Full attack. Full deploy. It's final turns. This right-hander is it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Slow exit. He's quick now, but it's too late. Third place. Porsche can't quite recover, but Doohan does. P1, P3. It's another win, though. Didn't see that one coming. Verstappen miles ahead, finishes P8. That championship's got to be wrapped up now. The Drivers' Championship will be ours, though it has not been won yet. And with a 35-point advantage, Porsche is the favorite. But remember, you got double points for the final race, and there's still 2 races left. So there's still a good 75 points out there, roughly, for Doohan, give or take, bonus points and whatnot. So Porsche, one bad race, and that could all change. I mean, just like that, there's a 10-point gap. Now, 10-point gap times 3 still doesn't do it. But Doohan's won a lot of races lately. He's won 3 of the last 4? 4 of the last 4? Is it 4 in a row for Doohan now? Whew, I think it is. He's on a roll. He's closing that gap. It ain't over yet. But it's going to be a 1-2. And that's awesome. Constructors, I haven't done the math, folks, but I mean we're talking about what, 90 and 45? All we need is a 135-point lead. We got a almost 300-point lead. So yes, we have won the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull will finish second. Alpine finally scores some points to strengthen their grip on third. Ferrari, McLaren barely scoring these days. Mercedes barely scoring these days. Alfa Romeo have been bringing it. They're still 7th. They got a chance to overtake Mercedes. Definitely over the last couple races. Their car is going to suck next year. That's my prediction. Aston Martin also bringing it lately. Means that they're probably going to find themselves in a world of hurt. Some other cars sitting back. Not as good. Part of Red Bull's problem, that they haven't lacked pace. They've had the best car still, which means they've continued to put time and effort into that car. They have 2 problems. One, Verstappen keeps taking penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty almost every other race. Brand new components almost every race. Second problem, and the penalties is the problem there. Second problem, mistakes. Russell, some. Verstappen, a ton of mistakes lately. They're going backwards, not forwards. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time as we wrap up this season. And then one more time after that, we'll get into the new season. I'm excited to see what it's going to bring. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.